you can determine your minimum, your maximum, the median, and the interquartile range using the upper and lower quartile, and the range using the minimum and the maximum. So here with boys, I see that the minimum is 0, the maximum is 28, and for girls, the minimum is 0 and the maximum is 28. So they have the same range. Now for boys, what's the median? And for girls, what's the median? For boys, the median is 14.5, and for girls, the median is 6. What does that tell me about boys versus girls and the number of hours they spend video games? Well, that tells me that 50%, the 50% of the boys watch more than 14.5 hours of video games, whereas 50% of the girls watch or play between 6 and 28 hours of video games. The girls there is much more spread apart on the higher 50% side, because it's going all the way from 6 to 28 to represent 50%, which means there's a lot more spread in the data. Whereas the boys is more spread apart on the lower side. So just comparing the median, I can see that boys typically watch more or play more video games than girls. Now, another thing you want to look at is just the size of the box. Which one has a greater interquartile range? Well, I can determine the interquartile range from subtracting the lower quartile from the upper quartile. So for the boys, 17 minus 9 would be 8. And for the girls, 15 minus 3 would be 12. So the girls have a much greater interquartile range. And again, that's the middle 50%. So the middle 50% is more spread apart than the boys' middle 50% of their answers. It's not as spread apart. So the boys have less variability than the girls. The girls have greater variability because their interquartile range is greater than the boys' interquartile range. And we're looking at the width of the box to determine the interquartile range. So in summary, a wider box means that you're going to have a larger interquartile range, and that means that your data is more spread apart, and that leads you to determine that you have greater variability. Hope that helps. Thank you for watching.